The trend that has emerged is that the demand for blood continues to grow much faster than the 2% increase that we've seen in donations. Over the past 5 months of this year, hospital orders are up by 20% over last year. So the demand has grown 10 times faster than the increase in donations. And this is something that we're seeing nationally, not just here in the greater San Antonio area. In fact, I got an email this morning from a sister blood bank that has no O negatives on its shelf for its community. Fortunately, that's not our place now here in San Antonio, but we want to prevent that.
As Elizabeth discussed, the demand for blood has grown at a really high rate, and we're not able to keep up with that demand because we don't have enough donors coming in through our doors. So because of this critical shortage, we are triaging our blood, meaning every day we look at all of the orders from our hospitals, we look at the available inventory, we also communicate daily with our hospitals to find out who needs blood urgently. We ask, do you have patients who are going into surgery that need blood? Do you have patients that are bleeding? Do you have a patient that needs it for treatment? And those patients are prioritized first to ensure they get what they need. And so we will continue to triage as the summer keeps happening and we still deal with these critical shortages.
When patients are bleeding, it doesn't matter what the bleeding cause is, if it's an injury or an intestinal bleeding or an obstetric bleeding episode or some other thing, blood is what those patients need to have their lives saved. Experts in the field, get those patients to us at the hospital alive. And it doesn't matter what hospital system it is, if it's university health system or Methodist or the Baptist system or Christus. All of our patients rely on those donors. We have one of the busiest transplant cities in the world for kidney and liver transplants. And those patients rely on the blood donations of volunteers to have successful liver and kidney transplants. Had a young woman, mother of 3, in a horrifying car crash over the weekend, whose life was saved because she got blood in a helicopter on the way to us and blood from us in our trauma center. We had a mom in the past 3 weeks delivering a baby who couldn't have delivered the baby or had a live baby or stayed alive herself without the life-saving transfusion that the volunteers here made happen.
So to those of you out there listening to this, the bottom line is there is no substitute for blood. In recent weeks, we have seen an increase in the utilization of blood as the COVID restrictions begin to wind down. People are feeling more comfortable coming back into the hospital for their elective surgeries. So more donors are needed to make and to keep appointments to meet the current need of blood that is increasing.
In 2017, my husband and I got the exciting news that we were going to be expecting our third baby. My first 2 pregnancies had been what you would consider textbook pregnancies, no complications. I worked up until the day before I delivered both of my children, and so I really didn't anticipate that this third pregnancy would be any different. However, I woke up one morning at home and realized that I was having a miscarriage. And within a couple of hours, my situation had become pretty critical. I had lost over half of my blood volume. Thankfully, my husband was able to quickly get me to an emergency room at one of our local hospitals. And whenever we got there, I was passing out. I was having trouble breathing. My blood pressure was all over the place. And I can tell you that whenever I began to receive that blood transfusion, I absolutely could literally feel life coming back into my body. It was an incredible feeling. I could breathe. My blood pressure began to stabilize. It was an incredible experience.